My name is Afra Al Dhaheri and I'm an Abuظبي based artist, and my work is a constant exploration of process, ritual through materiality. I think my time at the Rhode Island School of Design, particularly I was doing my MFA in painting. It was a very important time in my life because I learned to work with hand-building ceramics. I learned to get into the hot shop and cast with glass. I really got exposed to and sort of multidisciplinary practice, surrounded by also people who are fantastically talented and have amazing technical skills, who are very helpful as well. And I feel like those 2 years of my life were really building my technical skills, building this language that I am introducing and developing in my studio today. I feel like every day I embark on a new journey. I feel like I introduce a new material. Like, for example, recently I started working a lot with cotton rope, and I chose it for its malleability as a material, the fact that it's an organic material, but also I started associating it with hair, and the rope particularly lends itself and starts to act as hair as soon as you treat it like hair. When I was at Rhode Island School of Design, I was working a lot with cement on fabric. Cotton fabric that I used, I think now comes back into the work in a form of the rope that I also reintroduced in the... So it's kind of like I'm still dealing with the same material in a different state. My time at St. Ives at the Porthmeor Studio Residency was very magical, because St. Ives is known for its modernist painters movement, and painters have romanticized the sun and the light of St. Ives. I really wanted to focus on two-dimensional work. What does it mean to slow down my process? That was the time that I went back. I had developed this habit of collecting my hair, and it was influenced by Muna Hatoum's exhibition. I had seen her hair necklace work, and I read about her collecting her hair in a shoebox. And my hair was something that really identified me as a person, as a character during my younger school years. And so I felt like that was a very important visual element in my being, in my personality, and who I am, that is now veiled. And so I started collecting it. And in St. Ives, I decided to take out my hair, and I'm like, let me see what I can do with this material. And I treated hair as a material. The first thing that I did was just apply it on paper. I brushed it on paper. I applied some medium and brushed it on paper. Allowed it to exist the way it wanted to exist, and not really manipulate or shape the way that it actually forms, the way it lays down on the paper and creates these forms. My practice is very much process-based, but in it being process-based, it also became generative. In the trial and error, I am introduced to a new potential process, a new potential work. And an example of that, for instance, when I developed my work تجاربها for the Beyond Program Commission, the labor of braiding a 6-meter high rope piece was very laborious. There was a ritual that I wanted to exaggerate of just the day-to-day maintenance of a female's hair. And so in producing that, I remember I was on a crane and up by the ceiling at the top of تجاربها, and I start braiding, and I'm braiding, and I had 3 assistants at the bottom. As I braid, they were detangling. So I'm braiding the top, And as I am doing that, I'm creating another problem at the bottom. And it made me think of Fil al-Sha'r, which I introduced and produced in my solo show. And it made sense to move from tasriha, which is like an hairdo. And it's only natural that after an event, you would unravel your hair, you would release it of all the stress and that it's been through. My interest in the spirals started with me last year, and so I went to an actual demolished site. A really small chunk of it, a corner of it, was left. And this chunk was literally a 2-story connected by a spiral staircase. And it really caught my attention, and I kept drawing the spiral staircase for a while. I even like sculpted the spiral staircase in ceramic and hand built it. And I started obsessing in that summer, like, why am I interested in the spiral staircase? And then one day in the mirror, I was looking at my hair and I'm like, oh, you know, I have a spiral staircase on my head. So then the spiral staircase took me to tasriha. The first attempt of tasriha was to create a spiral of a braid. My first solo show in Dubai, Split Ends, a result of a year of unlearning. And when I introduced hair to my work, it was something that is very personal. I introduced it as a way to kind of like challenge some of these social ideologies in putting it in public. And I realized that there are a lot of boundaries that are set not by religion, not by society, but something in between. And so that's why I wanted to disrupt the way that you access or know the gallery space. I knew after a year of not being able to see art in person, I knew that I wanted my audience to come to my solo show, for example, and leave with an experience. And I realized that we had become very much distanced from such experiences because of the pandemic, but also because everything exists within our phones right now. And so we've become an ocular-centric society and culture in general, all around the world. And so I want my work to keep in touch with the senses.